Thank you, Gina. As she said, my name is Michael Wambaugh, and I'm the managing editor of the Goshen News. And on behalf of my publisher, Brian Bloom, would you stand, Brian? And the Goshen Chamber of Commerce President, David Doherty. And myself, welcome to the 2015 Municipal Candidate Forum, sponsored by the Goshen News and the Goshen Chamber of Commerce. Tonight is the first of two sponsored forums in which we will get to know the candidates running for seats on the City Council as well as the Mayor's office. Tonight we will focus on the 5 at-large candidates behind me running for 2 open seats on the Council. On Thursday, we will meet the 10 candidates running for 5 district seats as well as the 2 candidates running for mayor of this fine city. The election is November 3rd, and polls will be open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please be sure to vote. Let's get started and meet our candidates. We'll start with Arlen Ambler. Arlen is running as a Libertarian candidate and has lived in the Goshen area since 1972. Now retired, Arlen serves as chairman of the Elkhart County Libertarian Party. Arlen? Then we have Chad Klingerman. Chad is running as a Democratic candidate. He is a graduate of Northridge High School and attended Purdue University. Chad has been the office manager of Elkhart County voter registration since 2011. Then we have Mark Husser. Is that how I pronounce it?
It's pronounced Hoosier.
Hoosier.
Just like, yes.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. Mark is running as a Republican candidate. He is a graduate of Goshen High School and has been a Goshen police officer for 31 years. Thank you. Julia King. Julia is running as a Democratic candidate. For the past decade, she has been significantly involved with Goshen's neighborhood associations as a volunteer and as a neighborhood outreach coordinator for La Casa, Inc. And then we have Brett Weddle, who is checking the Cubs game, Cubs score, I think. Brett is an incumbent at-large councilman. He is a graduate of Goshen High School and Indiana University Bloomington. Brett is an optometrist and co-owner of Wellington and Weddle Eye Care in downtown Goshen. Those are our at-large candidates. Actually, David Doherty has a quick announcement to make about submitting questions. One second.
Thank you. There are a number of questions that were submitted through the newspaper, so we have those questions to work with. We also have questions from our Public Policy Committee at the Chamber because there are a few business questions we want to make sure we ask this evening as well. We also would ask that if you have questions you would like to write and submit, John Keenan is around. I can't really see. There's John. And he's got cards. Cards give a little explanation of the rules, and they're very simple. It's just really, if you write a question, try to keep it short and succinct. Something that the City Council would be able to address would be important as well. And then also, that not be confrontational. It really deals with the issues that they have to do with the City Council members. So with that, we look forward to having your questions. And John will be going around. If you need a card, raise your hand. He also has some pencils he can share with you as well. Look forward to some of your questions. Thank you.
Okay. Each candidate now has 2 minutes to introduce themselves before we get to the questions. And we'll start with Arlen.
Good evening. We're good. It's on.
Yeah, we're good.
Good evening. As I said, my name is Arlen Ambler.
No, you need to get really close to the microphone.
My name is Arlen Ambler, and I've been in Goshen since 1972, 1973. Prior to that, I was born and raised in Bay Area, California. I came out here when I graduated from high school in 1969 and went to work for Azar's Big Boy. And the fellow who used to manage one of the stores about the store in Goshen, and I came with him, and I ended up working there, and then it became Townhouse Family Restaurant. I was there for 30 years. And after that, after he sold the place, I worked at Meyer for about 10 and a half years. I've always been interested in politics and have ran previously various times in the past in primaries as a Democrat and a couple times as a Libertarian. And as it said, I became the chairman of the Libertarian Party about a year ago. And we didn't have very many candidates, so I decided this time to give it another try for running for city council at large in Goshen.
Great, thank you, Mark. Chad, you'll have to pass the mic. Sorry about that.
Hello, I'm Chad Klingerman. Like I said, I'm running for city council at large on the Democratic ticket. Moved to Goshen 3 years ago, and when I was looking for an apartment, I wanted to move to the city. I didn't look at any place else but Goshen. As was said, I graduated from Northridge, so I'm not a native to the city, but I wanted to move here. And I've had family in the city for 3 generations now, I think. I also like working for the county voter registration office, which is in elections and politics and whatnot. And that's my introduction. Thanks.
Thank you, Chad. On the mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Hoosier. I'm a lifetime Goshen resident, other than the few years around college time. My parents also were born and raised here in Goshen, along with my grandparents. Myself and my wife have 6 children together. The oldest 4 are all college graduates and thankfully gainfully employed. And the 2 youngest ones are still in college. The one is a senior at Purdue, but will have another year due to a change of majors like a lot of kids go through. And the other one is a sophomore at Ball State. As far as it was mentioned there, I'm a 31-year veteran of the police department. I will be retiring in January of this year. And so that I feel like will benefit me as a city council at large member. As far as my work history there, my primary responsibility within the police department for over half my career was the DARE program, in which I was very, very thankful, very proud of what I did in the community there. And looking around, I know that I had some of your children, some of your grandchildren, and actually some of the people in the audience as well were DARE students. And I believed 100% that in what I did, I felt like if kids grew up to be drug-free, then they would have a better life for themselves, and also their families would have better lives. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. On to Julia.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you to the Chamber and Goshen News, and thank you to all of you for being here. My name is Julia King. I'm running for an at-large seat. This is my first run. I've been 25 years in Goshen, so I'm a first-generation Goshen family. My husband and I arrived here fresh out of Ball State as new graduates and newlyweds. We lived here about a year before we purchased a home, and we've been in the same home ever since. My husband has run a small business for over 20 years here. Our daughter was born and raised here. She went to Parkside Elementary, Goshen Middle School, graduated from Goshen High School. She's now a senior at IU Bloomington studying Spanish. I grew up moving around quite a bit, including out of the country, so I really value the roots that my husband and I intentionally put down here in Goshen. It's been very important to me to have one place to live and to raise my daughter. In terms of my work experiences, I've been active as a volunteer for many years in various capacities. I also was a freelance writer for years while I was raising my daughter. My work has been heard on NPR, on Morning Edition and Marketplace, among other places. I spent the past about decade focused on neighborhood association development. I really believe in civic engagement, and I think that neighborhood associations are such an excellent entry point for democracy and that kind of leadership and understanding about how a city works. So I want to continue to support that. I think we have a great system that could grow even stronger, and I would love to be a part of that. And that's really why I'm here tonight asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. And on the Brett.
Thank you to the Goshen News and the Chamber and everyone that came tonight. My name is Dr. Brett Weddle, currently finishing my first term on City Council as a council representative at large. I'm a lifelong Goshen resident. I think it's probably 5th generation. My wife Robin and I, we both graduated from Goshen High School in 1994. We have 2 children. My oldest son Leighton is here this evening. He attends Chandler. And my youngest son Merrill, he's at Waterford. And it's kind of exciting. My 2 boys attend the same elementary school that I attended, same elementary school that my father attended. I'm the co-owner of Wellington and Weddle Eye Care. It's been a downtown fixture since 1926. Fortunately for me, they ran out of Wellingtons. And so they approached me when I was still in school, and of course I said absolutely. And that's been approximately 14 years now. My wife and I and our family were members of New Paris Missionary Church. We still enjoy attending all of our high school football and basketball games. And I've been fortunate enough to be the official timer for the Goshen High School basketball team for the last 14 years. The gentleman that did that before me was Mr. Harley. I think he had 33 odd years, so I saw the ways to go. And then I've also been doing the football official timer for about 10 years since Dr. Harley had to retire. I've also been able, the last number of years, to help volunteer with my children, the 2 boys, and their basketball team. I like to try and coach. It's an interesting, different level of frustration sometimes. I've also been a member of the Goshen Woodworkers Guild here in Goshen for approximately 10 years. And I really, really enjoy hobby woodworking. The problem is there's not enough hours in a week for me to find enough time to do all that I enjoy doing. So thank you, and look forward to the questions.
All right, thank you very much. And if you haven't already in the audience, silence your cell phones, please. We don't want these fine responses interrupted. So let's get to question 1. And we'll start with Chad. And question 1 is, how do you define quality of place? How important do you see it in relation to Goshen's future? And are there quality of place projects you feel should be considered?
I think quality of place can be defined by things like the river, the canals, and the bike trails, and all of our parks and open spaces as well. And other than that, it can be like First Friday and the people and business that brings to downtown, and projects like the Hawks Building, as a showing way to improve the quality of life in the city. I think for something like future projects, we actually showcase stuff on the river, showcase the river itself, and I think use other small things, like making sure trash gets picked up, snow gets cleared off the streets, and to do small things to improve people's lives so they can go about being the best people they can.
Thank you. Mark, if you need me to repeat the question, just ask. I can do that.
Thank you. Now, as far as quality of place, I certainly feel like Goshen has a lot of things to offer. I feel like we definitely have one of the best park systems, not just in our area, but probably throughout the nation, because I've traveled around and visited many city parks in my travels, and I feel like Goshen has an incredible quality there. Certainly our bike paths and add to that quality of place. along with just, I look beyond the amenities though. Keeping our neighborhoods clean, add to quality of life, quality of place. We have the ordinances in place to do that. We just need to make certain that we enforce those and keep on top of them so that people will desire to come here. Quality of churches, add to our quality of place here in our community. And quality of our private groups and stuff that work towards the benefit of Goshen and its residents. Those all add to building a good, safe, desirable community to live in. And as far as future and the quality of place projects that I would like to continue dealing with, I think to make a most desirable city there, we need to continue to promote our parks, but we also need to handle the vacant houses and stuff like that that need to be fixed up in Goshen. So that would be a priority that I would work on to best develop the quality of place to live in.
Thank you, Mark. Julia.
I agree with a lot of what's been said already up to this point. I think that quality of place just is, defined by those things that really hold us, that pull us into a community and that keep us here, that kind of bring us joy. That's part of what quality of place is. I know when my husband and I go on the bike trail, I feel like I'm on vacation. It just, those things that just make us happy as well. And I think the playful spirit and creative spirit that has been created downtown is, as people have mentioned, those are things that are really define our local quality of place. In terms of future, I certainly think those things are all important to our future, both emotionally and economically, all of that. And something that I would like to see is continuing to expand, particularly increasing walkability for like the closer north side neighborhoods. And particularly with what's going to happen with the North Connector, just saying how do we make those entryways so that we can have more people closer into our downtown quality of place as well.
Great, thank you. Brett, quality of place.
Quality of place encompasses a lot of varying things, most of which have been discussed, but a few others as well. I would include infrastructure, the parks and trails, quality jobs, vibrant downtown, and public safety. And if you don't have the proper balance of all of those combined, your city might survive, but it won't thrive. And if we don't thrive, and the current residents we have won't want to stay, we won't be able to entice the new residents to come. And Goshen is now becoming known as a destination. And so we still need to maintain all of those elements so that we can continue to draw people into our community. Definitely one thing that I would like to see us expand upon is the Fiddler Park Pond. And it's more specifically, it's connectivity to our bike trail system. I would assume that probably everybody in this room has been out to Fiddler Pond, and I would say it's definitely become the jewel of our park system. And I'm proud to say that it was my business partner, Jim Wellington, that spearheaded that project. It was his brainchild, and through his annoying persistence with aggregate industries and the Parks Department of the city, we actually own that now. And that facility is amazing. And it surprises me that there were some individuals on city council that were pretty upset with our park department superintendent for spending any money out there. And you look what that money spent has provided to quality of place in our community, and it's astounding. And I don't think we should stop with that. I think we need to, as I said, connect that park to our bike trails so that everyone can get there without having to get into a car. And the biggest complaint I've ever heard about the Fiddler Park area is the fact that there's not enough parking. And if we can connect that to our bike trail system, park is not an issue. So again, it's interplay of much more than just the parks and whatnot. It's the infrastructure, it's the vibrant downtown and the quality jobs and the public safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Arlen.
Yes, I agree with a lot that has been said here tonight. I think Goshen has It's pretty good quality of place right now. I think of like downtown with the First Fridays, this has become like a destination for art and artists with the Hawks building, and just items, things that are going on, like the Ignition Garage, and I'd like to see that continue. And I think that's important to Goshen's future. And haven't really gave much thought to what other projects to do, but I would like to see more done and to enhance what has been done.
Thank you, Arlen. I didn't mention this on the first questions, but candidates have up to 3 minutes to respond to the questions. So question 2, and we'll start with Mark on this one. Redevelopment in Goshen has become a priority in Goshen the past 2 decades. What do you feel the role of redevelopment should be in the community, and what do you see as the top redevelopment priorities of the next 10 years?
Redevelopment has and will always be important to any city growth. And as far as, I think it's really something that we have to be careful though, as a city government. I believe in the free enterprise system, and I think that there's certain areas that we need to make certain that everyone has a chance to invest. Everyone has a chance to develop certain areas instead of perhaps closing some doors that I feel have been closed in the past. So I think that we need to make certain we keep an open form of government to encourage investment in our community, and with that, redevelopment will happen. The more people that see an opportunity to come into Goshen and invest in Goshen, it'll just keep the ball rolling. There have been been a lot of major projects going on in Goshen. You know, the downtown certainly looks much better than it did, 10, 15, 20 years ago. The Mill Race redevelopment project is something that I was concerned about and so on, but right now it's coming along extremely nice, and I think it's going to be a big draw for Goshen. We just need to continue to develop those ideas, look for opportunities. Such things will be the next big project that I guess I see would be simply the old Goshen Holiday Inn, or the Goshen Inn out there on Lincoln Way East across from the Fiddler Pond that's been mentioned. That'll be the next big project. I don't know right now as far as what the city might have in mind to do with that. I look forward to the old building getting torn down. As a police officer, I've been in there when that building's been broke into. It's completely trashed on the inside. There's a real mold problem with it, so I don't know if anybody in here thinks that perhaps it could be redeveloped. It can't. We just need to go ahead and get that property down, get it cleaned up. It's an excellent location that I feel like there will be a lot of different people wanting the opportunity to develop that piece of land. And that would be the next big project.
Thank you, Mark. Julia.
Yeah, I think that the redevelopment, I think everybody's been very excited about what has happened along the Mill Race in particular lately, but so there's potential to continue that. As we know, the first part of Hawks has already been taken care of, and we're looking at the other part of the Hawks building. looking forward to some new development, some apartments coming, co-housing community. So those are exciting